Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. I am going to put a disclaimer out here first and foremost that I do use some interesting language on this page, so if that does offend you, turn off now. So now I've got that out of the way. Here's me art journaling. I am using some of the gloss sprays in my art journal. I'm using them in a slightly different way. I've been really loving using the gloss sprays on a really watery background because they do this beautiful, vibrant, excuse me, my tummy's rumbling, effect in the background. So you get this gorgeous watercolor effect, but unlike most watercolors, it's permanent when it dries. So I'm getting the effect of watercolor spread in the background, but it's going to be permanent. So I can do paint over the top of it, I can do glue over the top of it, and it's not going to shift, which is a bit of a game changer for me. So you can see me taking a photo of it because I really liked how it turned out. So to explain a bit of background about this day, this was at stupid o'clock at night. I had spent a day in the office working with my principal. We had to write the school improvement plan. We'd been doing it as a team for 4 weeks. It was fairly, we were writing it from scratch again, so it was a huge process. The principal and I were sort of down to the brass tacks of just, doing up the entire thing. And yeah, I was saving it as we went along. We, got the language we wanted. It was reading really well. It flowed really well. It captured exactly what we wanted to have in it. Saving and saving and saving to the cloud, as you do. Principal was sitting next to me, seeing me save. And usually I would print something out before I would go on to the next page or the next step. But it was getting really late on a Friday afternoon, and I had obviously saved as I went along, so I went to email it to both of us so we had a copy of it. Now, those of you who use Microsoft and Word and, all those things, you couldn't email it or attach it as an email because it was open in Word. So I closed it and attached the file and sent it off. Except I couldn't find the file to attach it. Couldn't find the document. Had disappeared into the ether. Luckily our IT guy was still there. He came. We just could not recover the document, and I was absolutely mortified. This is like 6 hours of the final work to get this done. It was due the following week, and it just disappeared. So I had to come home, and I just sat at my computer and tried to write it out as best as I possibly could again. So I was really, really, really frustrated, really angry. I had just spent a good 10 hours on a computer. My eyes were square and I just needed to give myself a break. At this stage I had actually finished it as much as I could possibly remember again. So I came into my art room to do this. So that's what was happening as I was doing this. Now you're sort of going, oh, but this is so calm and so collecting. So this was me in the first phase of it, where my mind was distracted enough by what I was doing that I didn't have to, I was distracted that I wasn't concentrating on what had happened. So I did my usual. I did some stenciling, did some of the line work over the top with a white pen so you could see the contrast. And then I decided to stamp my quote in. Now, usually when I would be working on this page, this is the thick watercolor page, and it's not great texture for stamping on. I thought I could get away with stamping with because it was just a quote and it was quite a bold quote, but it didn't quite work. So the reason I stamped with the white first was because I wanted to have a bit of a drop shadow on it. You saw I stamped it, and then when I did the black I offset it a little bit, so it didn't stamp beautifully, but that's what paint pens are for. So I drew over it with paint pens. I don't necessarily mind too much when it's quotes like this, because it's fairly easy to draw over with a paint pen. With something really detailed, I'd probably be a little bit more annoyed with myself. If you want to avoid what I've just done, just stamp it onto a piece of tissue and glue it over the top. but, you know, live and learn. It's all good. So you can see there that I've got this lovely page. Very happy with it. Put a bit of extra gloss spray on top just to sort of tie it all together. And job sorted. Pretty easy. So the gloss sprays I'm using to drip over the top are the same colours I used in the background. So you've got that contrast of the diluted colour in the background versus some more pure colour on top. So then I was obviously not calmed down enough, but I need to do something else. And this was probably triggering to me. In my collage box, I found this computer matrix board piece, which I actually really liked. And I thought, oh, I could use that because I've had that stay. And then I had this girl, which I found, and it cracked me up when I saw her because that's the exact look I had on my face. The principal was standing there talking to our assistant principal, going, oh, you know, we've done this document, it's fantastic, it's really good. Meanwhile, I'm going through my computer going, I can't find this file, I can't find this file, I can't find this file. And I just brought my hand up to my face like that, and she suddenly looked over me and goes, Niamh, what's wrong? And then I had to fess up. So it was just meant to be. Some days your collage box knows exactly what you need to get out on the page. So this was obviously there for a reason. So as I usually do with my magazine collages, I've got my paint pens out, adding some extra detail. I had a bit of a snarky quote there, which I'm sort of outlining, and I just needed to vent on this page. So I just needed to write down what had happened this day, because otherwise it was just going to bug me. I thought by doing that first page it would get it out of my system. It obviously didn't. So I did this second page and I just needed to write. So for me, sometimes doing the art's enough. Sometimes I need to add a little bit more. So yeah, that's what I did. So I wrote this. So if you are squeamish to the words, look away now and probably turn off. Yeah, that's what I wrote because that's what I was feeling. So F technology, well and truly, it was not my day. It did not work for me. I was ready to throw my computer at the wall. And if anyone else had asked me about the cloud and how amazing the cloud is, they were going to get told too, because I was well and truly over the cloud. So next to her image, I can write my journaling. So I've just drawn in some lines so I can write my journaling. And basically this is me just summarizing my day. Quite often when I'm doing journaling like this, depending on what it is, if it's really, really personal and I just need to dump on the page, I'll just do that asemic writing where it's really fast and really unreadable. With this, it was just like, at this stage, because I'd sort of rewritten it again, I was feeling slightly less stressful about it. It was more how technology had failed me that I was feeling frustrated. So I decided to write it down to just document the day somewhat. So once I've done that, I'm putting in my drop shadows to push, words I probably shouldn't be writing, but it's my journal. So, and that's how I was feeling that day. If anything, you get a very authentic view of what happens in my journal. Sometimes it's pretty flowers and sometimes it's telling it how it is. So that's how the page was. I did decide though that, particularly in the close-ups, that I would put some stickers over it. My kids don't get into my journals very often. They'll flip through sometimes. So, and I don't, I don't actually do pages like this very often. Something big really has to have happened for me to use language like that. So up front and up front and personal. But so I put some stickers over the top of it just to sort of censor it out for if anyone else was seeing it, or if I was showing it at a retreat or something like that. So this is a close-up. You can see that beautiful watercolour background using the gloss strays. Do not disturb, already disturbed. I was very disturbed that day. And you can obviously see her face and how I was feeling. so you can see my journaling in the background about my day and how I was feeling. So that's the story of one background, 2 pages, 2 very, very different pages, one very interesting day, but it all worked in the end. We all got through it. We all passed what we needed to do, so it was all good. So I'd be really interested to hear any of your computer-related horror stories. It might make me feel a bit better about it. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, bye for now.